Greetings, greetings, greetings. Uh-oh. Greetings, 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 family. Am I on? Am I live? This technical world, I tell you, we've got to kind of get used to. So, thank you so much for tuning back in the Melanin Report 360. I am your hostess, Deanne. I wanted to do a shout out to Bill Cosby. And let me go ahead and read the fair use disclaimer. Fair copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So thank you so much for tuning in. Share, 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 like, subscribe. And again, this is another report, the Melanin Report 360. So, wow, this has been interesting. 48, 20. I mean, it's just like, wow, 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 wow. So, Bill Cosby is out of prison. I will say yay. I will say I think it was, I know there was some things perhaps that he did allegedly, but I am just saying the man looks very frail and he brought joy into our homes. If you're old enough to remember Cosby Show, Different World, they kind of balled him from that. And, in these last 3 years, I think he's been in prison 4 years. I think 2018 or it was a while. I know he was in for like, yeah, 3 to 4 years. And thank goodness he lived to see the sky again, and live to see his family and friends and so forth and so on. So I didn't have a dog in the fight, if you will. So I didn't wasn't glued to the TV. I just didn't back then, 4 years ago. So I am saying, hear me. We have had so much injustice in this 1 year. I'm not trying to say two wrongs don't make it right, but it does make it even. Because we have been, charges have not come up for Tamir Rice. That's been 8 years ago, 7 years ago. So what I'm saying is whatever side of the table you're on, at least he was like, time served is done. So I was happy to see him, even though he's frail. And as time goes on, he aged, I'm sure, more harshly in prison. But I don't know his treatment, all that. I'm not going to go in to try to allege anything, but it shows on his face. He's been through something. So the man is soon to be on the 12th of next month. He is going to be 84. He's a few years younger than my mother's 4 year. My mother is like born is 34 and he's born in 30. So 3 years difference. So, at that age, I'm going to see her soon. It's kind of like, it's day by day, not trying to say it's a miracle you woke up, but everything, you're in your 80s, you just don't know. And so time is precious, as it should be with all Black and brown people. But we know and we trust and we believe that justice was served. He did the time. Can't say that. Let that man go home and live however more years he has in peace, and try to have some peace. But we've had so many, hear me, we've had so many people, including military across the seas, killing Black and brown people in this country specifically, and no one has gone to prison, no charges have been brought up, etc. So, whatever side of the table you're on, it's something to pause and say, time served, and he should go home. Because I think it was like a 30-year sentence or 25. I mean, it was just like ridiculous. And these charges were from, I think they kind of grandfathered it in because of the Me Too movement. I think that last chick was like, I think she was in her 30s. And when it happened, and she's probably in her 50s now, but I think they kind of put that in so he could, she could be heard. She was like a curly haired, kind of looking. He seems like he has a type, but anyway, that's another story. So I'm happy. I am happy because we've had so much death and destruction from police, from Breonna Taylor. They didn't even they had the audacity to say, oh, we're going to have to pay a fine because we shot into another property, another home, because they were rogue and they shot blindly, not knowing the target, and put like 6 or 7 bullets in the sister, Breonna Taylor. So, yes, I'm elated. I am elated because, they chiseled out, they found this and that, and then the Supreme Court of in Pennsylvania, they overturned it and he was released immediately. You know, because I know when he was trying, my mother reminded me earlier today that he was up to purchase CBS. Oh no, ABC. Sorry, ABC. So this was like back in the 90s, I believe. And he was trying to do all of that with IC of CBS, and they tried to shut him up and sit him down, say, okay, Black man, I'm not going to say the N word, but that's what you know your place. We'll let you have a couple of shows. It could be number one. You can bring in money and we'll reap the benefits. But no, you cannot buy a network. And so, when I was talking to her, my mother had not heard about the news, and I said, Bill Cosby got out, blah blah blah, and it was just like, why was he even in? I think it was chumped up charges, perhaps. I wasn't there. You weren't there, probably. And so it's her word against his word. And apparently there was a technicality of this and that and blah blah blah. Thank goodness. We get one for the team. Thank goodness. That man should not have spent another day in prison. That's what I'm going to say. I am definitely saying that. And I am strong in my convictions because we have countless examples, say in the last 4 years, just to say the amount of time he's been in prison. We've had so many George Zimmerman. He didn't get any time for killing Trayvon Martin. There was no justice there. Man, that young man was walking home with a bag of Skittles and Arizona tea. You know, they tried to roll him over in his passing. Oh, he had marijuana in the system. Who does that? What animal would do that? These parents are grieving loss of their beloved child. And enough, enough, enough. So we see how things are unfolding. It's just interesting. It's interesting because this is a new day. We are really in a new day. No matter what your beliefs on everything else, I'm not going to mention COVID. I got a little hand spank for mentioning COVID. I'm not going to mention that. But wherever you are in the spectrum of that, you know, be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. And Bill Cosby was a huge success. I mean, he has a PhD, I think, in education, PhD in education from Temple, I believe. So he's well studied, well learned. Perhaps there were some things that were done. I'm not going to say like 30 years ago, because that last chick with the curly hair, she looked to be around my age group, early late 40s, early 50s, somewhere in there, or maybe black don't crack, but she got a little melanin. But anyway, so this is a new day. This is a new day because we've seen over time and time again, Trayvon Martin parents did not have justice. We can think of um, so many. I'm just trying to Mike Brown. I mean, a lot of people walk, they kill and walk, broad daylight. No shame in my game. I'm gonna put billets in your back. I remember the picture. I think they took it down off of social media or wherever I saw it. That pig police. I'm saying pig because no one does that. He was. Oh, this was Jacob Blake. Jacob Blake or Jake? Yeah, Blake. Blake was the last name. So he was holding his T-shirt and putting bullets in his back. That man may not ever walk again. He has young babies. Who does this? Who does this? We're about to pull out of Afghanistan, finally, 20 years over there. I mean, are people calculating? When you see Florida, we have a lot of blood in our on our hands. Don't the United States recognize that? We're continuing to do it. It's not letting off the gas, like, okay, let's cruise, let's calm down, Mm-mm. It's just so ridiculous to have this type of environment. We have to raise our children in. We have to raise our pets in. I got fur babies. I guess, at some level, I may have subconsciously made a decision not to bring life here. Um, that may have been a conscious decision or subconscious decision because I know it's a Russian roulette. And I guess I just didn't want to take that chance of seeing what Trayvon Martin's parents are going through, or George Floyd's siblings are going through. Now, going back to George Floyd, act the whatever they're saying, it's calling the police enforcement blah 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 act. It's still stuck in the Senate. See, you can't take one for the other. Because of this, we see the events, Florida, we see the events, um, let's just say Bill Cosby. I mean, we have to, the universe will level the playing field at some level. A lot of those people they cannot find. That's on our bloodshed. That is why we're putting things out into the universe that's so destructive. Not saying, oh, we can do it. We can, we are the fear of a lot of countries just fear the wrath of the United States. It can be venomous. I'm just saying. It can be really, quote unquote, deadly. And so Bill Cosby walked out of prison today. Thank you. Ancestors are looking. His ancestors, the family ancestors, because that man, they found a way to put him in prison. As accomplished as he was, not trying to say accomplished people don't do dirt and all like that, blah, blah, blah. Harvey Weinstein's another one. However, however, Harvey Weinstein was of recent 5 or 10 years, I believe, maybe even more recent than that. So when you have okay, Harvey Weinstein, this Bill Cosby, this was back, I'm thinking like 20 years because I thought it was in the last alleged victim was like early 2000, 2001 or somewhere in there. So think about Emmett Till. Think about people never had justice. No one served time. No one ever served time. Breonna Taylor, not, nothing, you know. And her mother, I mean, okay, you get a wrongful death suit. You can sue for a few $1,000,000. You don't, that's not a value. Your child is a value. So don't get it twisted. People are wanting to live and be with their family members, their loved ones. So no money is going to replace that. It's not. It's not. So we have a victory. I will say that because it felt victorious that I think he probably would have died in prison, unfortunately. So perhaps he can get some wellness treatment and vitamin C drops and infusions, and he looked really frail. I felt like a tear came into my eye, and I was like, I know my mother is probably gonna. I haven't seen her in 8 months, 7 months. So she left in December. So yeah, I haven't seen her in quite a few months. So I mean, a lot of time hasn't passed per se. But as I get older, we all get older, and I have more gray. This is how I'm rocking. I'm like, I'm not coloring. I used to try and color it, and I'm like, damn, you're knocking on 60's door, God willing. So be gray, be proud. It's cute. I got a good cut. I do believe that young lady hooked me up. Yes, this is a new day. We have to see that the time served, it was just. Whatever he did, whatever he did, I'm talking about Bill Cosby, whatever he did, he serves 4 years, it's time served. Because he probably would have died. And I don't even know if it was 20 years. It's a death sentence on what was he, almost 70, almost 80 when he went to prison. So that's a life sentence for him. So thank goodness for the technicalities because that's what got him home. And he can spend however many more years or decades he have. He might live to be 100, you know. But I'm sure the fact that he was in prison um, took a toll on his spirit and his mind, and blah blah. But we have one victory, as opposed to all of the massacres after slavery, abolished slave. Okay, blah blah blah. We saw. I think I talked to you about a few months ago, maybe a few weeks ago, about all of the communities that had been leveled. I think Tulsa obviously was one, and the other one, it's just like a blur. So this country has been so destructive, unfortunately. I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about peace, love, and joy. This is the reality of this country. And I think it's high time for us to call it as it is, see it as it is, and, you know, don't don't feel like you're not being quote unquote patriotic. I am 4th of July doesn't mean anything to me because my ancestors, 1776, they were picking cotton, being raped, beaten, lynched, sodomized, more, burned at the stake. This is who these are the great, 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 great grandchildren of these folks. They didn't go away magically like poof. I dream a genie, you know. I'm definitely dating myself on that. So I dream a genie. That was back in the late 60s, early 70s. So yes, we need to have toast. I raise my glass to the fact that he didn't die in prison. That would have been horrific because we know we have two different justice systems. And even with all of his wealth, he still served time. I think it was 4 years. 4 years. That's a long time for at any age. Definitely in his late, he was probably 79, I guess. Got out in 80 in as 83 years of age. I think he's going to be 84 in a few weeks or a couple of weeks. So this is good. This is good. Like I said, if you're on the Me Too, I get it. I definitely get it. I definitely get the Me Too. But I believe there should be, and this is coming from Deanne, should be a cap of how and when you can, if it's 10 years, if you have that much trauma, you have worked through some of your trauma to be able to tell, point to the person and what you did, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna say publicly now, I am a part of the Me Too. Something happened to me as a youngster. That will be in my book. So I'm not like, oh, I've never had it happen to me. No, that's not the case. AC is so loud. But we need to see there's so much injustice. This country does not see justice. It has a lady with the blindfold on, right? That's not the case. We want to believe that to be the case. That is not the case, sisters and brothers. This is real world, real world. Um, so thank goodness for the release of Bill Cosby, our beloved father, quote unquote father, from all the good programming. He had Alvin Toussaint on the team to kind of critique shows and make sure it was in keeping of a certain format because he had elevated the game. He had elevated and put shine the light on a functional African American upper middle class family or wealthy. I don't know, lawyer and a doctor. So they were upper middle class. So upper class. What am I saying? Upper middle class. So this is a victory. There's been so many things that have happened over the years that I've just been shaking my head. So maybe right now it's a wake up call for Black and brown people to stop killing each other in the street. Our life is so valuable, so valuable. And we need to honor our body, our mind, and our spirit and our temple. So, how can I put a gun to you? You're my brother, my sister. That shouldn't happen. We need to rethink all of our decisions going forward. We need to say this is a victorious time. Just having one is a big victory. But if this country stops doing a lot of aggression and crazy stuff and start paying attention to the simple stuff, global warming. We talked about that yesterday. Global warming, and each one can teach one. That kind of principle. But we got to see who has the biggest gun. And the beloved Frances Cress Welsing, she talked about the black gun. The ISIS Papers, it was an incredible book. I read it back when it first came out in 1993. That was the year it came out. So I read it 30 years ago. I probably have to read it again. So I look forward to your comments. I really want to say, once with this country begins to love one another, as we say on Sunday when we go to church, um, love one another. If we say it, but we don't practice it. Okay, I'll give you a story. I went to a bank today, a famous bank, not my bank, but a famous bank. And so when I walked in, I had to go to I didn't have to go to the teller. I just needed to go to the um, kiosk for the card, you know. And so I did the card, and I saw like a bank manager. I don't know if he was a bank manager, but he was on the floor he had a suit on and all like that. And so, I go in there, all of my 5 feet 11, you know, I don't have attitude, but I'm like, I'm representing. I'm representing. And so he looked at me, didn't say anything, and I called him out. I didn't cuss. I don't do that. He probably, I said, I see that, um, I don't even know how it came up. He looked at me and then he kind of looked away. And I said, I'm a customer too. You know, you didn't say anything to me. I did say that. You didn't even acknowledge me. I'm walking in your bank, giving you business, you know. So we have to call it out when we see it. I'm not trying to say I'm ready. I'm jocked. I'm ready. I'm half cocked. I'm ready. Now, this was so obvious to me. And by the color of my hair, he knew a seasoned person. Yeah, yeah, mixed gray. I'm not going to color it. I'm going to try not to color it, but it looks kind of cute, I do believe. Yeah. So, you know, we need to make a stand, not trying to get crazy. I didn't make a scene. I don't scream. I don't roll like that. In my life, I just don't roll. I don't get down like that. You ain't gonna see me fussing somebody out. That's not how I'm put together. So I acknowledge that I'm a customer, and he didn't even say anything. Like, how did you not acknowledge this queen? You know, I mean, and then he, have a good day, you know. But when this happens, like I said, I'm not trying to say I'm sitting on top and waiting, but it just depends on, you don't have a, because he looked at me. That's the thing. He looked at me and he chose not to speak to me. He made that decision, right? Because I would have, usually 9 times out of 10, when you walk in the bank, oh, they're happy to see you in the bank, oh. So, like I said, I'm not showing out. I'm not cussing anybody out. I'm not doing that. I don't do that in life anyway. I don't, that's not how I'm put together. So I just checked him. Like, you see a goddess walk in your establishment and you're not acknowledging me. You looked at me, you saw me, you made a decision, to not speak. I just, oh yeah, he was like Boo Boo the Fool. That wasn't my intention. He was a young man, probably 30, 35, somewhere in there, old enough to know. He's got the position, he's got the suit on. He could be a assistant branch manager or whatever. I don't know. He didn't have a tag on. I was looking for that tag, you know. But we have to be respected in everywhere we go. We have to necessarily don't show out, don't go gangster crazy, blah blah blah. We can do that, but I'm in a and I didn't even raise my voice. I didn't even raise my voice. But I let him know that he did not acknowledge me. He looked at me. Now, if he had been doing something else, obviously I wouldn't have said anything. Like, oh, why did you speak? No, he's doing something. He looked at, he gave me eye contact. And then that, oh, ma'am, thank you for coming in. Have a good day. If he had said that, I would have been out the door. You look at me and then not acknowledge me. No, not on my watch. No, ma'am. No, sir. So we have to do our part to stay in a place of peace that passes all understanding, knowing. When we have that knowing, that trusting and believing, we are being made brand new. And we have to move accordingly because it's almost, I'm not going to say it, I'm tossing around the statement and as I close. It is, I don't want to say it, maybe I should. At some level, we know it, we're at war. We know we're at war. In this country, they know all about wars. They live for wars. And something has to change. We have to bring peace, love, and joy as we know before we got to this country. We have to come back to our principles and our eating habits and our drinking water, no smoking, anything, nothing harmful put in their body. You know, just find a place that you can be at peace. Meditate. If chant, if you pray to Most High, find something that kind of works for you. As we evolve, as time goes on, we'll have a little bit more understanding of who we are and who we are. So thank you so much for listening. I won't be on today or tomorrow or Friday, due to travels and other things. And so I will try to come back next week. So it will be my Friday today. I will be traveling tomorrow. It is a pleasure coming to you with Melanin Report. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. Try to put those two words together. Like, share, subscribe. I'm about to eat again. Yeah, share my videos. Let people know I'm here. Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm here. Monday, I was here, and now Thursday, Friday, I won't be. But you can go back to the reruns and the repeats and all that. And I look forward to your comments, and you can reach out to me. I look forward to hearing back. Have a wonderful, safe weekend, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Peace.